Greetings, welcome to the Prosperous Musician. My name is Spence, and I just wanted to share with you a few things that I use to generate extra income as a musician. Now, my main income is from gigs. When I say gigs, I work mainly in Norway, sometimes in the UK. I'm from the UK but live in Norway, so I get most of the gigs in Norway. Now, they're mainly through two agents that I use. And I can tell you the name of those agents, and I will put those in the comments down below. I will put those in the description down below if you're interested. Now, I have to say, full disclosure, this is all real talk. So, really, things took off for me when I moved from the UK to Norway. And I did that. I was able to do that because my partner um, got a job in Norway for 3 years. It's a paid research fellowship job. So we were able to do that because of that. She had the income. Now, when we arrived here, I didn't have any work. I went around all the agencies. I went around all the pubs and bars in Oslo, where we're living, and asked, how do we get the gigs? And the reason why I asked that is because I was doing gigs and I was busking in the UK. So it wasn't something I just started when I came to Norway. I was already doing gigs. I already had the competence and the skill and the sort of the I had the equipment. So eventually, I found out that most of the venues were saying two names when I went there. We said we don't book directly. We go through this agent. So I contacted that agent, and it just so happened that one of the agents were actually he's a musician himself and he owns the agency, and he was playing in Oslo, coming up he was playing in Oslo at a time that I could go and see him. So I went and saw him, and I asked him, and he said, "Sure, yeah, here's a couple of gigs to get you going." So I started playing, and then that was 2019, early 2020. I started getting more gigs until obviously COVID struck. But even then, I was getting gigs when things were opening, and that has carried on. Now, some of those have slowed down because some of the venues that I was getting booked at have stopped doing live music for the time being because of the recession. So my gigs have reduced. However, in that nearly 3 years, I was doing well, doing quite well. So and you get paid a lot more here in Norway than you do in the UK, for example. Now, I don't know if it's the highest paid, but I've been told by other people that it is certainly in the top three. I think Switzerland, you probably get paid more. Um, and I guess maybe certain cruise ships you might get paid quite a bit more, but that's only because you're doing a lot more gigs. I think cost per gig you get paid a lot more here in Norway. However, it's all relative because the cost of living is higher here. The taxes are higher. So although you get paid more, you may be paying more out. So anyway, it swings and roundabouts. But however, that's how I ended up becoming more or less a full-time musician here in Norway. I was also supplementing that with busking when the weather was good. Now, you can't really see in the window behind me, but it's snowing. It's -7 outside. So it's not really the weather for busking now. However, I have been doing busking here in Norway, and it's been okay. I've done a lot more busking in the UK and in Europe than I have here. And I have to say that the times I've busked here, it's been like anywhere else. One day it can be great, the next day it can be not so good. So busking really is the long game. It averages out over time. Whereas gigs are more consistent in the fact that you get paid the same amount or maybe more each time. The rate doesn't fluctuate too much, and you're kind of guaranteed that rate, obviously, if you turn up. So that was really the catalyst for me starting the Prosperous Musician. First of all, I started off busking and I started making money from that, and then I started getting gigs and wedding gigs and corporate gigs and all these kind of things. And that was in the UK. And then obviously when I came to Norway, that stepped up a gear. I was getting more and more paid gigs here and getting paid a lot more. So that is why I started the Prosperous Musician. However, the other streams of income that I have done is I'm going to show you now. So this is um, well. So let's just remind you that the gigs are the main thing. That's the main bread and butter income. I do have another non-music job, which is data collection, which sounds quite technical, but all it is really it's for a car parking app. And my job is to cycle. I go on an electric scooter around Norway, and I take pictures of streets with certain streets that have car parking spaces in them, and I take the pictures, I send them to the app, and the app puts them in the algorithm, and they decide when and where is the best time to park in Oslo. So that's my other part-time job, which supplements my music job. And what I'm about to show you also supplements my music. So this is full disclosure here. This is what I do, um, and this is how I make my money. The other thing to say is that my partner has a lot more resources than I do. So she has a full-time job, so she's providing the full-time income, and her own resources that she had before that, which came from inheritances, enabled me to live a very comfortable lifestyle without relying 100% on just my income alone. So what I'm basically saying is, yeah, if it was just my income alone from music, I wouldn't be able to probably live the life I'm living, live certainly where I'm living here in Oslo. It's very expensive. It can be a high cost of living. However, um, that said, I'm in terms of my own consuming, so just my own sort of food and rent and stuff, then it would be enough to live. But because of my partner's resources, we live probably a better life than it would be if it was just down to my income alone. And maybe that's your case as well. Maybe you're in a relationship, in a marriage that you put your joint income together, then it's obviously a lot more than your own. Um, you might be on your own. You might be a single, and your income that's it. That's all you get is your income. Um, so I'm just being fully, really transparent here. There is no sort of, I'm not a big hitter in terms of income or anything. I just wanted to share with you what works for me, what I'm earning money from, what I could be actually doubling down on and earning more money from. And that's another probably topic for another video, because I will be doing that in the future, because the gigs again have been up and down. They've been really good at some points and they dwindle, and they've been dwindling at the moment for one reason or another. So it's time for me to refocus in other areas where I can increase my income. So this is what I talk to people a lot about, and most people say, "I've never heard of this," but it's certainly a way that I can earn extra money for literally no effort. It's like this is the biggest secret I have about earning money through like literally zero effort, apart from the effort it takes to record your music. So, for example, if you're using Spotify, you put your music up on Spotify, and then you have to hit all the playlists. You've got to constantly be adding new singles to get the algorithm to favor you. You need to be on the right playlists to get anything like the kind of return that you need to earn some serious income, or even just any income. This is Tribe of Noise, and it's a resource that it's got a few different elements to it, but the main one is that basically what you do is you upload your music. If they think it's good enough, they will put it in forward to be considered for playing on playlists that are mainly in kind of like shopping centres and public spaces. And the way they monetize this is that instead of paying for instead of a PRS license that you usually get paid from PRS, and we'll come to that in a minute. If you're in the UK, obviously you another Performing Rights Association where you live, but if you're in the UK, it'd be the PRS. So let's just, when I say the PRS, I mean the UK, but you can substitute whichever Performing Rights Society you are with and in which country you are in for the PRS. If that makes sense. So, with that being said, um, Tribe of Noise, basically what they do is they go to shopping centres and say, look, we can supply you with music. You don't have to pay for a license. It's cheaper than going to the PRS, and we'll supply you with high quality music on a rotation. And they say, yeah. And so they pay them a subscription, and they do that obviously with each store and each place. And so that means whoever is on that, whoever's music is on that playlist, they can tell how many times that track's been played, and I receive a royalty each time that happens. So you can imagine that over time, and as they expand, that becomes more and more. So just an example here. So as you can see here, this is the calculator. This is euros, so it's 593.48 euros. So that is basically in-store music. I have uploaded my music, they've accepted it, and I have done nothing else at all. All I've done is just uploaded my music, and then I get these royalties added up. I don't have to promote myself. They're not interested in how many followers I have. They're not even interested in the name of the artist, what they look like, how old they are. They've got any videos out, no credentials at all, other than is it a good recording? Is it what we need? Is there no profanities in it? Is it produced in a way that is kind of ideal for what we want? If it is, yes, you're in. Bang. So that is one way that you can make money. And I'll say that some of the tracks that have been accepted for me were tracks that I was never going to release. I didn't think they were like part of my they didn't suit what I was doing in terms of an artist, whatever that means. And so I just uploaded them. I was never going to do anything with them. They were just sitting on my hard drive, and I uploaded them, and now they're making money. So this could be you. Maybe you a bedroom artist. Maybe you've never released any music. Maybe you've never thought it's that good, and you've got a load of music gathering dust on your hard drive, and it's just sitting there not doing anything. Get on Tribe of Noise, upload it to them, and see what happens. Because if they accept it, then it's money in the bank, and you literally have to do nothing else. You just let it accrue. Now you can cash out anytime with this. You pay out 100 euros a minute. I like to build it up, and at the moment I've got about, I don't know, 10 tracks on there, and I just let it build up. And usually it adds up to about be between £10 and £30 per month. So obviously it's not money that you can retire off. It's not going to be any great shakes. However, this is a numbers game. So the more tracks that you can get up on there, the more money you get for literally, as I said, doing nothing. It's literally like money in the bank. It's like gaining interest. Your songs are gaining interest over the time. And you could say, well, I'll do that on Spotify, but in my experience, Spotify, you need to do a lot more work to actually get more attention and get more spins on Spotify. Whereas this, they do all the work for you. So I can't emphasize how easy this is to earn money from your music. And if it's your first time, if you've never earned a penny from your music and you suddenly get music uploaded and earning money from that, then you are, all intents and purposes, a professional musician. And that changes, anyway, it changed my mindset when I realized, yeah, this is encore. Now, encore for musicians. So I'm, as I said, I'm a musician. And this is another way, if you're in the UK, of getting gigs. It's an agency. They do take, and I will say this, maybe they won't like me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They take 20%, which is quite a lot for an agent. Usually agents take anywhere between 10 and 15%, usually around 15%. Certainly 20% is the very high end of commission that an agency will take. However, what they do is their back end, their kind of dashboard, if you like, is very easy to use, and they do have a lot of jobs that you can apply for. Once you've got to a certain level on this, once you've started to get some gigs and you've got some reviews on there, then what they tend to do is actually send you gigs. So they'll recommend you if somebody's looking for a musician in your particular geographical area. And remember, obviously, they've got all your details and all your data, so they can say, oh yeah, Spencer's in this area. We'll recommend him to you. They'll push you to the front of the queue and say, have you thought about this guy? And then they can say, oh yeah, I like the look of that. And they'll look at you, and then they're more likely to pay. So more likely to book you rather. So that's what happens. It's like anything. Once you get started on it and you start developing more gigs and getting more bookings, then it starts to snowball and they start to help you along. So it's like an algorithm, I guess. So This is my most recent one. And bearing in mind, this is the UK. I don't live in the UK full time anymore. I go back very occasionally. So, and I've been in the Norway for the past 3 years. So these gigs are literally from when I go back to the UK, I can slot a gig in. So there aren't as many of them as if I would be in the UK full time gigging all the time. So, but the last one I did was in the summer, as you can see, July the 30th. I got £330 was paid. Now, the good thing about this is that they deal with all the bookings and the so basically if the person books you and then doesn't pay or there's any kind of quibble or any kind of hassle, then Encore deal with it on your behalf. You don't have to deal with the people directly, other than saying, okay, where's the place, and what specific things do I need. They open up a conversation with the person, so you can actually talk to them personally and sort out the minor details of the booking. However, if there's incidents where there's a you need some support, then obviously Encore are there for you. Um, so it's all there. So they take the deposit for you, and then you get paid at the beginning, and then you get paid once the job's done. So it's kind of safer that way. So this was the last one I did, and then it goes back to 2019. So this is when I was last in the UK. As you can see here again, an event here, singing guitarist, charity event here. This was working in London. This was a birthday party, which was great fun. I remember that one. This is like a club in Stourbridge. This is a hotel in London. This was a private event, which I got somebody's birthday party, and so on and so forth. So you can see this is a good agency. You can also refer people. I forget where it is now. One of these. You can click on here and refer people and get affiliate. You can get paid when other people book, if you like. So that's one agency that you could look at if you're just starting out. You want to get into weddings and parties and birthdays and stuff like that. You could do worse than to start on here. And here's the kind of jobs tab. So it just tells you what people are looking for, what kind of things are going on at the moment. Obviously, you put in your area. You can change how many miles radius you want to do. You can change the filter. And all these here are people who are looking for pianists or guitarists or all kinds of things, weddings, parties. It tells you how many people have quoted so far. So, if there's only like a few, then you could go in there and do it. So there's also here singing pianist need for a hotel and on and on and on it goes. Wedding booking here. So check it out, Encore for Musicians. I'll put all the links down below, so don't worry if you can't get it now. So this is PRS for music. Now, as I talked about before, if you are in the UK and you're a performing musician, then this is the one that you go for. You just sign up. It's pretty easy to follow if you've never done it. Just follow the instructions, sign up, and you can submit your music, and your music then will be on a database. Now, then what you can do is when you get your number and everything, when you go to play a gig, even if it's just like an open mic, maybe you're just getting started and you play an open mic, you make a list of the songs that you've played. Let's say you played 3 of your originals in an open mic set. What you do is you submit to the PRS what you've done and when and which venue you went to, and then they do the maths on it, if you like. Report live performances. So here we go. So what you'd do is you'd go to here, report live performances, and it explains it more here. You can report live performances for all sizes of venues, from gigs to concerts. For each, we have a time limit on accepting the submission of your setlist. Venues that are part of our gigs and club schemes no more than 1 year ago. International UK concerts no more than 3 years ago. So this is what you do. So you log in wherever you are, tell us where you played, build your set list using a predictive search for the registered work. Once you create a set list, you can use it again and again. Tell us about the same performances at different venues or on different dates. You can also adapt your set list to add or remove songs. No need to search for your songs and composition every time you make a claim. So they make it very easy to do this. Once you've done all the sort of the upfront stuff, it's just a matter of then if you play the same songs at each open mic, then literally it's very easy to just say, yeah, I'll play these three on this date at that venue. The full breakdown of how they do that is probably on the PRS Music site, and you might be able to call them and ask them more about that. But what I have found is that so basically, it depends on the size of the venue. So if you're playing like a small pub open mic, obviously you're not going to get as much money as if you're playing the main stage at Glastonbury, because it is about size, it's about capacity, and about how many people are hearing it, not literally individual people, but like the capacity of the venue itself. It's worth doing, and it does add up over time. So here it is. These are my statements, and this is something I'm saying it now. I'm sort of telling you guys to do it, but it's something that I really haven't done. And like I say, I haven't been in the UK for the last 3 years. I haven't played any gigs in the UK really, like that play original music. And again, this is what this is about. So it's your own music, not playing covers, right? My statements are very low. So last year, for example, or this year, I paid £24.12, but that was if I remember rightly, those gigs were just like open mics, I think. And so I didn't get paid, but that's worth, that would have paid for a pack of strings and, a drink, which is better than being out of pocket. And again, here, 2017, 2016, very small amounts here, but wasn't playing and I wasn't registering all the things I should. So imagine if you were doing this every week, if you were playing open mic, if you were playing your own stuff every week to multiple different venues, and you were playing some bigger shows, you were getting support slots at bigger venues, you were playing festivals. This is going to add up and add up and add up. And of course, you can the sky's the limit with this stuff. And it kind of tells you where the territories are that you can earn in. So obviously, I was playing in the UK, and it tells me there how much I earned in that place, and it goes further. So you break down, you go into the United Kingdom, and it tells you there which song earned what. So you got 50% of the royalties for work number, and then you can go into the catalogue here, and it tells you which song you registered and which song was actually earning the money. So there you go, Dance All Night Today, it was registered 2014. It's got all the details here, composer, how much you earned, mechanical share royalty, copyright control, 97 account, whatever that is, not sure. And there you go. It gives you the full breakdown of each song and what it does and how it gets paid. So this is the next thing that I wanted to do. So at the beginning of lockdown, I wrote a book called Busking for Beginners, The Prosperous Musician. And that's how it started, I guess, The Prosperous Musician. It's the brand. Busking for Beginners is the name of the book, and there is another one called Busking for Beginners. That was my bad; I didn't research the title. So there's two Busking for Beginners. However, mine has more positive reviews on Amazon. So if you're interested in busking, this has a lot of my experiences in there. Got a lot of stuff that I've learned over the sort of 8-9 years that I've been busking, and personal experience is kind of 90% of it. The rest of it is stories and things that I've seen other buskers do. By no means is it the full story of it, but it really is just the basics that you need if you were literally just starting out. If you've never busked before and you want to get started, this for me, busking was the gateway into being a professional musician, because if I hadn't started busking, I wouldn't have started playing gigs, and I certainly wouldn't have got or the amount of gigs, earn the amount of money that I have done playing here in Norway. So it's a great way of learning your skill, learning your craft, practicing your chops, learning to work with an audience, learning to deal with difficult people, learning to stand your ground, learning to know your rights, know the law, because there will be people who challenge you on that, and 9 times out of 10 they don't even know either, including the police. So it's a good way of really. I see busking really as an apprenticeship. It can be. I mean, you can just literally be, if you want to go out for shits and giggles, just earn a few quid. That is totally fine as well. Or you just want to go out and practice. I've seen people do that as well. They don't even ask for money. They just want somewhere to practice, and that's fine as well. There's all different levels to busking, but busking is not begging. That's one thing to say. It is not begging, and begging is not busking. You might see someone who's got a one-string guitar just just pretending to, just begging really, but not really putting any kind of musical or creative effort into it, but just using it as an excuse to beg. Whereas busking is an art form. You see the best buskers, and I've seen some of the top buskers at work. It's phenomenal, the way they can work a crowd, the way they can, the amount of money they can earn. And I've been surprised myself sometimes the amount of money I've earned on some days, and it's a very unpredictable craft. And if anyone says otherwise, they're kind of lying. You can't really predict how much you're going to earn. It's very unpredictable and it's very weather dependent. So it's not for everyone. There are different ways into being a musician than busking. But for me, it was the easiest, most direct way to go. Oh, if I stand here and play and I get some money, then if I scale that up in some way, but better equipment, better songs, better pitch, better time of day, whatever it is, then I can really sort of affect my earnings. And you can in that way. I found out that, if you're amplified, if I was amplified, I earned more money amplified than I did play unamplified. I earned more money in some places better than others. I earned some more money in the same place but on a different time. So more money on the night time than in the daytime. More money in the winter than in the summer, and more money on a rainy day than a bus. So you can do all these experiments and play different places, different times of day, different kind of songs, different kind of look, and see what works for you. It's different for everyone, but as I said, this is where it all began for me. So all that experience, all this kind of um, information is in this book. It's designed for a very quick read. It's not in depth. It's not War and Peace. It's not like it's not a biography or anything. It's just very factual, and it certainly needs updating as well. There will be maybe an updated version of this coming, but certainly got the bait. It's enough to get you started. And if you are interested in busking, and there's tons of stuff online about that, which you could also look at. But if you wanted to talk particularly to me about my experiences, and if you wanted one-to-one support with that, I know it sounds, we just think you might just say, well, I don't need support, I'm just going to go out and play. So that's fine, just go and do it. But some people I know, they can get very fearful about playing or about even the thought of playing, and the risk of, oh, what are people going to say? Am I going to get arrested? Are people going to laugh at me? Am I going to get robbed? Is anyone going to listen? Am I going to be ignored? All these kind of fears come up when really once I started playing, all those fears kind of went away really. So, but I totally get it. I totally understand that you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, I want to try that one day, but really that's the fear talking. So, I'm happy to walk with you and do this on if you want to get me on your phone and I can coach you, I can be along with you, be your busking buddy, and you set me up on your phone and I can show you where to go, show you where to play, and get you started earning money. Because this, for me, it was the quickest and easiest way to start making money as a live musician. I think I've already showed you at the beginning of this video, the easiest way to make money out of music is to upload it to Tribe of Noise, which I'm not getting any. There's no affiliate link for me on this. I'm not promoting them and getting anything back out of this other than sharing it. And I know that a lot of you people watching this won't do anything with this information. I know that because I also do that. I watch videos, go, oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm really inspired about that, and then just go and do something else. But I know there'll be a small portion of you who go, right, I'm going to do that. So let me know your experiences. I would love to know your experiences. If you followed anything in this video, or if any of this is new to you and you didn't know this before, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your results from doing this, and I really want to see you be prosperous. Like I say, I'm not making myself out to be anything. I'm just a musician who's just trying to make a bit of money. That's all I am. But the aspiration is to be a prosperous musician, and that means that you're not only earning money, but maybe able to support yourself, but also to share your music and to have a prosperous mindset, a growth mindset, that you're always learning, you're always expanding, you're always interested in what's going on in the music scene around you, and ways you can new skills that you can learn. So that's what I mean by prosperity. Not just all about how much money you can earn, about whether you're enjoying it. You're enjoying the journey, and I do. I just love this. I would do this, and I have done this for nothing for a long time before I started busking. I was playing open mics and stuff. Wasn't even registering it with the PRS. I wasn't even getting those few shekels from that. So, but I was just doing it for the love of it. I like being around musicians. I like music. I like playing music live. I love the music business, even though it has its faults like any business. But I'm in this for life. I'm in this for the long term. And if I can help anybody along the way, then I can. I'm in a very fortunate position that I'm in a stable partnership, and we have what we need. We're not relying 100% on my money, which would be very different. Then I would probably we wouldn't try and earn more money from gigs. If it was just all down to me, then obviously we'd have a very different life. But I'd still be playing music, however frequently or much, whether it's for money or not for money, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, this has been a long form video for me. It's just pretty much, there's a couple of edits in this, but it's just me talking about what I know. This isn't scripted. I haven't written any of this down. It's just me literally just being as honest as I can with you and sharing my experiences, what's worked for me. I haven't done it. I'm not a Spotify expert. I'm not a Facebook ads expert. I'm not, I haven't got my music into big films and TVs or anything like that. However, I can share with you what's worked for me. And, further down the line, I will be getting into publishing. There will be a publishing, Prosperous, there will be Promu publishing, which then I will be looking at your songs and seeing how I can help you uh, get those songs into films, TV, and games and all that kind of stuff. But that's coming. That's not yet. I don't have that expertise yet. I'm still a student, still very much a student of music and a student of marketing, which I'm very interested in. I'm actually doing a course, doing a degree in marketing at the moment. So there'll be more from me about that as I learn. So that's what I'm trying to do, just learn and sharing what I've learned as I'm going along. I'm not positioning myself as this big expert. Just that I know a little bit more than someone who's just starting out. That's where I'm at. And if I can share that with you guys who are just starting out, who are at the beginning of your musical journey, or if you've always done it as a hobby and you just want to start to make music, you want to start to make money from your music, however little. Remember, it always starts with a small amount first. If you make £1 from your music, then you can make 100, and if you can make 100, you make 1,000, and so on and so on. But there's different skills and mindset shifts along the way. So if you want some more ideas, I've literally give you my best, the ones that work for me. There will be a link down below to a book which is called 52 Ways to Make 10K as a Musician. Now, as I said, I've done some of these already in there, and I've done several of these things in the book that is in the link down below. And whether they've worked for me or not is yeah, some of them have, some of them haven't, and some of them I haven't tried, but I know that other people have tried them. I've heard and I've seen other people do them firsthand, and I know that they work for some people. So they might work for you. So there's 52. There's one for every week of the year. So even if you just try one and it works and it makes you an extra 10,000 over the course of a year, that's worth it, isn't it? That's the price of car payments. That's a good chunk of a mortgage. That is, a great holiday. That's certainly, a brilliant Christmas, isn't it? 10 grand if you'd earned that over the year. For just using one of the ideas in this book down below, that would change your life in some way, for the better, wouldn't it? It'd give you more money. So imagine if you did 2 or 3 of these ideas at the same time and you earned an extra 20 or 30,000 pounds, then that would obviously have a bigger impact in your life. So it's all down there. They're all suggestions, all ideas, and it's really down to you how much you employ these ideas and to what extent, how much you focus, how much you are willing to learn these things and actually put them into action. So that's what I want to end this video with, is to just take action on anything you've seen in this video. If nothing in this video has inspired you to take action, take a look at the book in the link down below and look through that book and see if that inspires you to do something. Just pick one of the things you've seen in this video, try it out. And if you're stuck from where to start, I highly recommend that you start with Tribe of Noise. Because like I say, if you've got recorded music, it literally is just uploading it and that's it. you could that song could be starting earning you money today if you get started. So that is my parting shot with you. Take action today and be prosperous.